Yeah. Good morning, friends. Myself, Dr. Sandeep Iskander. Today, I am presenting our electroanalytical methods. So, first question arises: what do you mean by electroanalytical methods? So, electroanalytical methods are the class of techniques in analytical chemistry which study and analyze by measuring the potential or current in an electrochemical cell containing the analyte. So, today we will discuss about the polarography. The the scientist Ikovic got the Nobel Prize in 1939 for the polarography. History of polarography. On February 10, 1922, Professor Hversky recorded the first dependence of current flowing through the dropping mercury electrode on the applied potential and made a corresponding graph in his laboratory notebook, which can be considered as the first polarograph. So, this is the first polarogram developed by the scientist Ikovic. There are two types of electrodes in the polarography. One is a polarizable electrode and second one is a non-polarizable electrode. So basically polarizable electrode or working electrode or indicator electrode are those electrodes which does not possess its own potential but can easily take up the imposed potential. That's what is called as polarizable. In a non-polarizable electrode, contrary, it possesses its own potential and hence cannot take up the imposed potential. That's what is called as non-polarizable electrode. Example is a large pool of mercury or a secondary calomel electrode. So we will discuss about the basic principle of polarography. Basically, a polarography is a branch of voltammetry involving the study of current on y-axis versus applied potential on x-axis relationship obtained during the electrolysis of test solution at a microcathode, that is a dropping mercury electrode under control condition. So, current on y-axis versus applied voltage on x-axis, we will get the particularly a sigmoidal or A-shaped type of curve. Here, the initial portion A to B is basically a residual current, B to C is a diffusion current, and that is very important for us, and C to D is a limiting current. So we will see one by one. Portion A to B is called as residual current. The current produced in the AB region is due to the migration of ions of indifferent electrolyte. That is, we are adding excess amount or 100 times higher. That is a KCl solution, which produces a residual current. And residual current is basically consist of two types. One is Faradic current, second one is non-Faradic current. Portion B to C represent a diffusion current. At a point P, the potential now equal to the decomposition potential of the metal ion, and that's why the reduction of metal ion takes place at the electrode surface, at the dropping mercury electrode. So metal ion with the n number of electrons, it will form a metal amalgam. So basically diffusion current is nothing but the limiting current minus residual current. So in continuation, portion C to D is a limiting current. After point C, all the ions reaching the electrode surface get immediately reduced at the concentration at the surface, and now the concentration becomes zero. Therefore, concentration gradient cannot increases. Hence, current attains to a steady value, and that's what is called as limiting. This is a schematic diagram of polarography. This portion is basically a dropping mercury electrode, and this is a S-shaped type of cell. Yeah. Let us see. This is S-shaped type of holograph cell. This part is a dropping mercury electrode capillary tube containing mercury and very thin capillary negatively charged act as a cathode. Dropping saturated calomel electrode or pool of mercury act as anode with a positive charge. Here it is a paste of HgCl2 Hg. There is a connection between the anode and cathode through a sintered glass disc having a agar plug. Here it is a solution of sample, and there is another provision for the inlet for nitrogen and outlet for nitrogen to remove the dissolved oxygen. We will discuss later why this is why that is necessary to remove the oxygen, dissolved oxygen. So basically, this S-shaped polarographic cell consists of 10 to 16 ml of the solution in the left compartment, and capillary tube height is about 10 centimeter. To avoid the polarization of the compartment separated by a cross membrane filled with a 4% of agar in a KCl gel. Obviously, dissolve oxygen, remove by using nitrogen. Let us see dropping mercury electrode. This is a dropping mercury electrode consists of a mercury reservoir to 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 hold the mercury. Then again a rubber or plastic tubing and at the capillary tube, and that capillary tube having 10 centimeter in length and 0.03 to 0.05 millimeter of internal diameter, and external diameter is only 5 to 7 millimeter. In general, the mercury drop time generally maintained in between 2 to 5 seconds. Here, mercury as a working electrode is useful because it displays a wide negative potential. Its surface is readily generated by producing a new drop film, and many metal ions can be reversibly reduced into it. So here, surface is a reproducible, smooth, and continuously renewed. Working range is between 0.4 volt to minus 2.0 volt versus C. These are the advantages. And mercury also form amalgam with various metal ions. High over voltage of hydrogen on mercury makes possible the deposition of ions difficult to reduce in aqueous medium. Obviously, the surface area can be calculated from the weight of the drop, and electrode surface is continuously renewed. So a series of reducible spaces can be estimated, which unless and otherwise cannot be possible in other metals. So what are the limitations of the mercury electrode? First one is mercury is costly, and second is highly poisonous. So handling is a big issue in case of dropping mercury electrode. The capillary is a very small, so easy to be blocked. So malfunction of the electrode is also possible. DME electrodes generate some currents like residual current, migration current, which added error in the current actual measurements or current measurements. Also, mercury is oxidized. It restricts the use of electrode as an. So always DME electrode is act as a cathode. It cannot act as a. So again, a typical program consists of residual current, diffusion current, and limiting current. So again, we will discuss in detail. Residual current is consist of Faradic and non-Faradic. So Faradic current is due to the impurities present in the solution of a supporting electrolyte, and non-Faradic current is due to the supporting electrolyte or indifferent electrolyte like KCl or KNO3. So both contributed to the residual current. Next one is a migration current. Migration of a charge species, that is your analyte, in the electric field caused by the potential difference existing between the electrode surface and the solution, that is your potential gradient. If 100 times higher concentration of the supporting electrolyte is added to the analyte solution, then all migration current carried by the supporting electrolyte, and our analyte is now free to move towards the DME or dropping mercury electrode surface through a diffusion process only, not through a potential gradient. So migration current is solely carried by the your supporting electrolyte. And diffusion current in a polarography under the conditions of 100 times greater concentration of supporting electrolyte, the reducible ions moves only by a concentration gradient. That is a diffusion process, and hence the current is called as diffusion current. Next term is half wave potential, even half. The potential at which the current flowing through the polarographic cell is half of the diffusion current is called the half wave potential. That is, current is equal to ID current by 2. In that case, EMF of DME is equal to EMF of 1. So in polarographic analysis, the mode of transfer should be only a diffusion. Means there is a concentration difference around the electrode surface and at the bulk of the solution. So the movement of the ions only through the concentration difference between at the bulk and at the electrode surface, not due to the electrostatic attraction due to the negatively charged electron and positively charged ions. There is again a provision of nitrogen introduced into the cell and removal of nitrogen, because we want to remove the dissolved oxygen from the electrode solution. So why it is necessary? Because we see that oxygen is reduced at the electrode surface, and the following reactions takes place when the potential is minus 0.05 volt to minus 0.15 volt. Oxygen with water plus 2 electrons to form H2O2 at a neutral or alkaline solution. When solution is an acidic solution, that in that case oxygen with H plus ion to form H2O2. When the potential decreases up to the minus zero point 0.9 to minus 1 volt, the further reduction of H2O2 with 2 electrons to form the 2OH minus ions. Thus, the oxygen wave interfere the polarographic wave during the normal analysis, making the accurate determination difficult. It is therefore necessary to pass the nitrogen gas to remove the diesel oxygen from the solution. So this graph clearly indicate that without oxygen or in nitrogen bubble solution, uh, this second type of graph is obtained, and with oxygen, this type of that is reduction of oxygen takes place. There is another difficulty arises in polarographic analysis, that is polarographic maximum. So normally we will get this type of graph, but in several cases we observe that at the at uh, uh, at the limiting current we will observe a certain kind of maxima here. So why this maxima occur? There may be several kinds of reason, but exact reason is still not known. But maybe this is due to the origin of maximum is sometimes connected with the mechanism of electrode processes in the case of catalytic discharge of ions, while in many cases it is caused by increase in transport of depolarizer towards the electrode by a streaming portion of the solution. So how we eliminate the polarographic maxima? Yes, this is possible by using some surface acting material like gelatin, triton X100 methyl red, which by the addition of those substances into the solution, in decreases or eliminate the polarographic maxima. So after all the discussion and mechanism of the polarographic, we will see the diffusion current is directly proportional to the concentration of the metal ion solution through a echoic equation. So what is echoic equation? Echoic equation is ID is equal to 607 n into d raised to 1 by 2 C into m raised to 2 by 3 n into t raised to 1 by 6, where ID is the diffusion current in a microampere. N is the number of electrons required per molecule of electroactive substance. D is the diffusion coefficient in a square centimeter per second. C is the concentration in millimoles per liter. M is the mass of mercury flow from DME in a milligram per second, and T is the drop time in seconds, where N, D, M mass and T are if the constant. In that case, diffusion current is directly proportional to the concentration. So there are various applications of polarography. One is a qualitative analysis, where half wave potential, obviously half wave potential is a constant and characteristics of the reducible species in the given supporting electrolyte at a given temperature. It is very similar to the retention time in a gas chromatography. These are the even half values of the sum of metal ions like cadmium 2 plus minus 0.06, copper plus 0.04, lead minus 0.40, nickel minus 1.40, cobalt plus minus 1.2 volt. So in the qualitative analysis, there are again various methods. One is the calibration curve method, where ID is directly proportional to the concentration. So ID is equal to K into C, where K is equal to ID divided by C. Or wave height. Basically, wave height is directly proportional to the concentration. So where is the wave height? Yeah, yeah. This portion from this to this is corresponding to the wave height, and that wave height is directly proportional to the diffusion current. So again here, wave height is equal to K into C, or K is equal to H by C. So by using your calibration curve method, we can easily find out the concentration of unknown. So here known concentration 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60 millimole of P3 were recorded as a current density versus saturated calorimeter. And after that, plotting current versus concentration, as these all are the known concentrations. So calibration curve. So calibration curve of known concentrations versus the diffusion current, we will get a straight line passing through the origin. So again, we can find out the diffusion current of the unknown, and plotting on the calibration curve, we will find the unknown concentration. Here again, diffusion current is equal to K into C. There is another method, is a standard internal standard method. By using this particular formula, diffusion current of sample divided by diffusion current of pilot is equal to concentration of sample divided by concentration of pilot. Also, standard addition method is also useful in a polarographic method, where Cx unknown concentration is equal to I1 into Cs into Vs divided by I2 into Vs plus in bracket I2 minus I1 into Vs. So there are several applications of polarography. In inorganic analysis, various metal ions can be analyzed by using diffusion current, and in organic also, we can find out the carbonyl compound, peroxide. Those compounds can undergo reduction reaction, can be found out by using polarography. But obviously, the range in between plus 0.4 volt to minus 2.0 volt. In other applications, organic as well as inorganic compound, to estimate the amount of dissolved oxygen, analysis of alloy, quantitative analysis as low as 10 to minus 6 molar, and complexes can be studied. Other applications in foodstuff, high purity aluminum compound, high purity of aluminum, beer and soft drinks, high purity petroleum fraction, CO2. Also advantages in polarography in pharmaceutical analysis, when only a small volume of sample is required. Turbid and colored solutions can be analyzed. Prior separation is not required. This is one of the great advantage of the polarography. Prior separation is not required. Its sensitivity is sufficient for the determination of trace elements and toxic impurities. Sample of natural allusion can also be analyzed by using this, and high speed analysis, which is important for quality. So thank you.